If you're ready to take your stick figures to savvy sketches, you are in the right place. Let's begin. I'm sure by now you're already drawing your stick figures, something like this. Kind of the traditional kindergarten sad stick figure. But with just a few extra lines, if you can draw this stick figure, you can draw a great savvy sketch of a human figure. So let's see how. Begin by still using a circle to show the shape of the head. We're going to be pretty basic here. And the spine line. But to advance your drawings, you're going to want to show where the shoulders and the hips are on your figure. So just go ahead and draw 2 horizontal dashes. Here is a really important proportion that we're going to need to remember, which tells us the size of things. The length of head to hips is 1/2 of the full form. So what I want to do is measure from head to hips 1/2. You can see I'm using my pencil as a unit measurer here, and see how I can find that same length to show me where the bottom of the feet are going to go. So pretending these are my little hip sockets, I'm going to go ahead and draw the legs of this stick figure here. Give him some arms coming down. As you can see, we've got 1/2, 1/2. And we've got a little proportional human figure. Let's go ahead and give your little figure a little more personality and add character. So we're going to begin again with our stick figure with hips and shoulders. Go ahead and add the legs. Check and make sure they're the same length. And I'm going to let this guy have his hands on his hips. And let's see how we can take this little stick and turn him into a 3D character that takes up depth and has personality. So we're going to begin first with just a big kind of oval. Doesn't have to be fancy, doesn't have to be a perfect oval at all. In fact, we'll experiment and play with different shapes here for the forms. And kind of a little bean, or you could even do a little infinity or a sideways 8 sign to show the pelvis here. And essentially the rest of drawing out the figure is just having little bubbles around the limbs. But notice how I'm going to go ahead and make a little circle for my joints. That's a pretty handy trick to use. Notice how at the joints, the major joints of the limbs, we see the shapes of the figure kind of taper in, and give some little paddles for feet. Simple, simple, simple here. He's looking like, if you've never seen one before, an artist mannequin. And artists are always looking to simplify a complex figure like the human form into simple shapes. So boom, there you go. Still, he looks a little funny, right? Well, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and switch to just a ballpoint pen. Let's give him a little hat. Something. Show where his face is pointing. And I'm going to keep the basic ovally, circle-y shape of the head. If you want to add the features, a lot of the times with these super simple sketches, I like to leave the face blank. It's kind of a cool look that allows you to imagine whatever sort of face you like on there. Leave that for now. Basically now I want to outline the outsides of the shapes that I created earlier and maybe add a little bit of detail where here we would have the bottom of a shirt, right? And for the hands, I'm going to keep them really simple, sort of little paddles that are attached to my figure. There we go. Now, at this point, if I wanted to give my character a different outfit, perhaps a different shape pants or shorts or skirt or dress, I would totally let that overlap the shape of the legs. But let's just say he's wearing some jeans. Pretty straight-legged. And let my little paddles show where the feet are. Boom. Oh, let's see. I'm going to give him a short sleeve shirt. And maybe He's got striped pants on. I'm going to give this just a second to dry, and then simply come back and erase the pencil lines that were underneath everything. Now, eventually, the more you practice, and practice is what is going to really bring your stick figures to savvy sketches, then eventually you won't need to draw out the little underlying artist skeleton every single time, but it is a very handy way to make sure that your figure looks the way you like. Let's practice just a few more figures using this formula. Step 1, the head oval. Step 2, the spine line. Shoulders and hips as horizontal dashes. Use that measurement to find the bottom of the feet to get the half and half proportions between head and hips and feet. Add arms. And then create form by using simple shapes to fill in or outline the simple skeleton that you've drawn here. For example, triangle or kind of an oval for the torso. Use whatever shape you want. The more you practice these, the more fluency you'll have with how different shapes create different personalities in your figures. I like to use a little sideways 8 sign for the pelvis. And then you can outline the limbs, thinking of a little joint between the middle of each limb where they bend. You can do each of these large muscle groups as individual shapes, or you can even use a large shape to cover the whole thing. Depends on how simple you want to go. Once you got the overall proportions of your figure, you can come back in and do the fun work of decorating. I'm feeling like this might be a superhero. Let's go ahead and give him some impressive details. I'm coming back in pen. And for hands and for feet, less is more. So a little sort of paddle shape or terminated triangle, whatever you want to do to give a suggestion of a foot or a hand. The idea is that with these savvy sketches, you can populate a whole background setting with lots of different characters, and you want to go quickly as you do that. Go ahead and give him like a cool helmet kind of thing. Oh, and of course he's got to have the cape flying back. Let's practice a couple more. Step 1, oval. 2, spine line. 3, shoulders and hip lines. Find your halfway point to get the base of the feet. Arms. If you like, you can draw in where the elbows and knees would be. And decorate as you wish with different shapes. And if you want to play around with some proportions, you could have maybe a really short little torso and maybe really large hips or high hips. We're all a little bit different, so different proportions can actually work really expressively. I'm going to simplify the limbs even more here so you can see an example of quick, savvy little triangles. Kind of a fun little character. I'm going to outline her in ink. Let's try one more. Oval head, spine line, find maybe, you know what? Let's do something really different here. Let's do someone in action, someone walking. So if they're going to be walking this direction, we can have their legs open mid-step, like a big letter A. We still want to think about those proportions. And since the hips and shoulders are facing us, we barely are going to see any bit of them at all. It's almost like they're almost more of a dot. And let's do something fun and have a pregnant lady, nice, expressive, circle-y shape here. Just walking along, supporting that lower back. Yeah, this will be fun. So when I draw people walking to the side, I like to have a little point on the side of my face to show where their nose might go. Give her some cool hair. And the more you play around with different styles, like you'll get to know different ways of doing hair or expressions quickly and easily, maybe shapes of the head that you like more than others, so that you've got your kind of go-to library of characters that you can draw. Simple shapes around her arm lines, torso shape. She's got the big old pregnant belly here, and her knees would be about right there. Simple shapes around her leg limbs, and there you have it. She probably needs a purse. Let's outline her. Now we can come back and erase where the ink is dry. And this is the really fun part, is coming back to add color. This is where you can have some fun. Whatever you've got, just use it. I'm going to go ahead and use some colored pencils. These are actually watercolor pencils, so in a moment we can come back and activate the watercolor to get some really quick watercolor effects. With just a little bit of water on top of that. Look how much fun these are. Ooh, let's do something fun with her. Keep playing around, experiment, try different extreme shapes for torsos, for hair, for the costumes. Go wild, enjoy, and see what you can do as you transform your stick figures to savvy sketches.